Right, we're back. Nick and Becca's Fireside chats. First of all, can I just say thank you very much for listening and watching to the person who has done that so far. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. And secondly, what one must do with these things is say, hit subscribe.
Oh yeah, hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe.
And notifications, and also hit the bell icon so that when the next one comes up, you get alerted to it, because you're going to want to do that.
Oh, I didn't even know about that bit. Right. Okay, now we're
basically a millennial. Gen Z. Millennial person. That's me.
Can you imagine you being a Gen Z?
No, because no generation, and when there's Gen whatever it is, the Gen Zs will look back and go, God almighty, what's wrong with them?
We're Gen X. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know we were Generation X, because Mum was a baby boomer, and then it's Generation X was next.
We're Gen X. Yeah, we are.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to do as Gen X. Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't know what our traits are.
I have to say, no. Anyway, let's not get into that.
No, well, go on. As long as it doesn't get us cancelled, because this is only episode 4 or 5, so we're early doors.
Well,
don't be cancelled too soon.
No, but let's be honest, you can be cancelled for saying anything.
That's true. Yes.
And let's not forget we're in Scotland, so if anybody even overhears this that happens to be passing past the window that doesn't like it, they can go to the mushroom farm in East Lothian, which is a reporting centre, and report us, and it'll go on our record, and we'll never know.
Yeah, that's literally can.
So that's literally the case in Scotland.
If you say anything to me now that I find offensive, I'll nip in my car, head down to East Lothian to the mushroom factory and report you.
Yes.
And then you'll never know.
And I'll never know. But I'll be, that is Scotland.
Hashtag be kind.
Hashtag be an authoritarian dictatorship.
Right.
Anyway, you've got tarot cards.
I've got tarot. And the reason I've got tarot, before we get into Nick and Becca's Fireside chat, episode 5, I think it is. With no fireside. Is because in episode 3, we talked we talked about tarot, and Nick said I wasn't allowed to read tarot because I was his sister.
Yeah, so she has none of the mysticism that one would want from a tarot reader.
No. So what I thought I'd do is I'd bring the tarot, sans mysticism, and just give you a little reading anyway.
Okay, I'm up for that.
Yeah,
I'm
up for that.
Yeah, come on.
All right.
So, ooh, it's the 5 of Cups.
Now, you have to bear in mind, dear reader and listener, that I've only been doing
this. It's the 3 sticks.
It's wands.
Wands, sorry. I knew it was something. I wonder what it is. It was the 7 matchmakers. Well, that's a Valentine's gift in the 70s. 7 matchmakers.
With Terry's all gold.
I dropped off a packet of those to Sarah Kalo.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was about 10.
You're old romantic.
Yeah, popped to matchmakers. I wasn't brave enough. I ran to a door, knocked on the door, and left at the door and ran away.
So cute.
Sarah Kalo.
Did she ever know they were from you?
I don't think so.
She does now, because she's our listener.
She's probably a Harridan now, isn't she?
She's probably
all the girls that I fancied at school were called Sarah.
They were. You went through a phase. Well, you're married to a Sarah now, except we call her Sally.
Yeah, Sally, but that's true. It's true. And I've always wondered, it's because had I been a girl, and this was when there were just the 2 genders.
Yeah, just the 2.
Just the 2. And you could tell as soon as you were born by the genitals, you see.
Back in the day. And the chromosomes.
Yeah, but you can't see chromosomes. So the easiest way for the lay person would be, oh, look, it's got a twinkle. It's a fella. That's how they used to do it back in the day.
I thought a twinkle was a girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A winkle.
Winkle.
Do you know, it always reminds me, whenever I hear about this kind of subject, it reminds me of Blackadder Series 2.
Oh, yes.
When Nursey says to Queenie,
Yeah.
you used to be a boy
Yes.
when you were born. And Queen Elizabeth first goes, "Oh, did I?" She went, "Yes." But then Sir Thomas More pointed out that you didn't have a winkle and that a boy without a winkle was a girl.
That's right, she does.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's now. And that's
I
who wrote
know.
that all those years ago?
Oh, God, who wrote Blackadder?
Well, the man that wrote...
Oh.
I think Rowan Atkinson co-wrote it,
Yeah.
but also the man that wrote Four Weddings and a Funeral and all
Oh,
those,
yes.
perhaps him as well.
Yeah, Richard Curtis.
I think. So there we are. So that line is in there.
Brilliant.
You were a boy when you were first born. And then Sir Thomas More pointed out a boy without a winkle was a girl.
Oh,
simpler times, Elizabethan times.
Simpler times. Anyway, can you shuffle the deck?
Yep.
Whilst I tell the listener, who we've decided is called Sarah, that I've only been doing this for about 18 months to 2 years, so I'm a novice.
It's reassuring.
Yeah. So if you're a tarot expert,
don't judge.
And
also, these are tiny tarot cards.
Tiny.
Why haven't you got the full size ones?
Because they're my travel deck. I knew you'd like that.
Are they magnetic as well, so that when you're in the back of the car or in a train, they don't slide off?
No.
Remember we had magnetic chests and magnetic Othello for the back of the car?
Oh my God, and it never worked properly.
Everything was magnetic for when you were travelling.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, because you didn't have phones.
So this is your travel tarot.
That's my travel tarot. Yeah.
Keeps the weight down in her luggage.
That's why I've got them.
So she can just go...
Yeah.
Hand luggage only.
I've got my tarot.
Nobody likes to wait by carousel when they're overseas.
I don't like a carousel. Nick, you've got this room at about 112. It's absolutely...
It's really nice. It reminds me of England where it's warm.
Jesus.
Rather than Scotland where it's cold.
I know. Fresh. Right, hurry up. Crikey.
Shall we turn it down then? Have you turned it off?
I've turned it down already.
Come on, get tarot. Where are you going to put these?
Right, split the deck.
Just wherever I want?
Yeah. Right, I'm going to lay them out on the computer, but I'm going to show the viewer first. What's that? That's 9 of Swords. No, that's 11 because 6. 6 of Swords. That was backwards, but I should read them. Oh, Wheel of...
Snap! No?
No, Wheel of Fortune. All right, okay. And Ace of Swords. Right. All right, are we ready, our kid? Right, do you want to stop that now?
Do I not do? Am I trying to put them into pairs?
No, you can't. You won't find a pair.
Okay.
Not in this game. Come on, dollies, do your D-Link. Do you remember that?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Bruce Forsyth.
Bruce Forsyth. We miss Bruce Forsyth. Right, so for you tarot aficionados out there, this is probably going to not be the reading that you thought it was going to be. So past, all right?
Right.
You felt very alone.
How recently in the past?
It's not specific.
Isn't that handy? When people are handing over money. Isn't that handy?
I've not charged you anything for this.
I know, and I wouldn't. I mean, isn't that... Well, it's not specific. Oh, that's useful.
Right. So that's... You're not alone.
Right.
It feels like you're alone.
Right.
It feels like you're friendless. Nobody loves you.
When you say it feels like, what do you mean?
Well, you feel like.
Do I?
Have in the past. This is the past. Go with the program. Okay. This is the past.
In the past,
we did mention Rod Hull and Emu last time. It is like
I
working.
wonder who's got whose hand up whose arse on this one.
Well, you're the emu. That's all I'm saying.
Right, I want to be the emu.
Right. So it's a good job I'm in charge in the business, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not interested in being in charge of anything. I'm not bothered.
It's a good job. Right. So, but you weren't friendly and alone. Bossy or Oh, what's that word they say now?
Bossy.
No, what's that other one that's more positive than
Overbearing. Controlling.
Oh,
It's
assertive. That's it.
assertive. Yeah,
Assertive.
you are assertive.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm very assertive. But you are not alone. You were not alone.
All right. So I
Okay.
felt alone at some point in the past, but I wasn't.
Indeed.
Reassuring.
Yeah. The present is the wheel of fortune.
Right.
Things go up and down. Fortunes come.
Wheels don't go up and down; they go round and round.
Well, like the fortunes of fate go up and down.
Well, why is it a wheel then?
Because it stops and you never know where it stops. So it's a spinny thing and it might stop anywhere.
Okay, so it spins rather than goes up and
Well,
down.
you know what I mean. Stop being pedantic.
No, you point it a wheel and say it goes up and down.
It goes
wheel,
round.
You should have. It should be something on the card that goes up and down.
Right. Well, it goes round and round, and who knows where it's going to stop.
I'll tell you what goes up and down.
What?
Right, levels of patience. With this load of pony. Right, and what's the future?
Right.
It's a sword with some seaweed on it.
Well, actually, it's the Ace of Swords, which is fabulous.
Right.
So that's fabulous. That's a lovely card full of clarity and clear direction of thought and good stuff coming to you and plentiful and a harmonious, lovely existence.
That sounds nice. And is that just roughly, or is that, when you say in the future, is that like in 30 years' time when I'm 87, if I get to 87?
No, I think it is, let's say, I'm going to just go with what the card tells me.
Right. Have you had lessons on this?
Yes, I have actually.
And has it cost you money to have lessons?
Like £9.
Okay, well, you get what you pay for. I reckon you've got £9 worth of knowledge there. So you can't. You've not been shortchanged. It's not as though someone's done Reiki on you.
I think this is the near future.
Fair enough. A sword with seaweed on. Will everybody agree? The watcher, that is a sword with seaweed on it.
Yeah, it does look like it, doesn't it?
And that with a person with lots of bubbles around their wrist.
That's clouds.
Oh, they just look like bubbles from a foam bath, although his hand's been in a bubble bath for the kids and mixing up like I used to do for the kids. Fine. Well, good. I mean, after that insight,
well,
I feel as though I couldn't go onward into 2020, remaining of 2020 with confidence.
Now we've got a segue into the theme,
right, which is
travel.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. I don't pick these. She just plucks them out of the air and goes, right, we're doing that.
Travel.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Best country you've ever visited?
Ooh, gosh, that's a good one. America. The United States of America.
Mm-hmm. What is it about, in any state in particular? Because like all the states are really, really different.
They are really different, so I don't profess to know loads. So we've done the Pacific California Highway thing through California. Obviously, we did Texas, from West Texas right through Texas and Louisiana and into Mississippi and down to New Orleans. I've been to Boston, Massachusetts. I've been to Florida. I've been to New York. I've been to Virginia, to West Virginia. I don't know these places. I can't say that I have a detailed knowledge, but you said it. I like the variety.
Yeah.
And like many places, actually, when you think about it, it's the people that make the place.
Yeah.
And in my experience, Americans are very, very friendly.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And very positive.
Yeah.
And we come from a country, the United Kingdom, which can be very, very negative and very pessimistic. And that's not the Americans, generally speaking. They're a very upbeat nation.
Yeah, they are. No, I like America. I've done a bit more of America than you, because I went when I was a student.
Yeah.
And I did that whole Greyhound. But when you do that, it wobbles the camera.
Oh, it's just dusty.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's a dusty. I wouldn't ever get Well, it just you
Well,
actually bought me. She actually bought me a keyboard mini vacuum
I
cleaner,
did.
and I have used it.
I knew you would.
It's excellent. You should. Oh Jesus, that is a biohazard.
Right.
My
Well,
sister's keyboard on this Mac.
well, just don't look at it.
Jeez, I bet that's where the plague started. I bet this is the source of COVID. Your keyboard.
Probably.
Anyway, sorry.
It wasn't a
United
lab leak in
States.
China. It was my keyboard.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, the United States. I really like. I've done quite a lot of Florida now. I've done Florida Keys as well. So I like the Keys. They're really good fun. And I loved Boston. Have you been to Boston?
I've been to Cambridge, Boston,
Yeah.
Massachusetts to go to Harvard.
It's nice. It's really nice. I like it because it's quite European.
Yes, well, it's the seat of the nation, isn't it? I mean, that's where it started, really.
I do like America, and I'm like you. I like Americans. They do tend to be very, very positive.
Yeah, very positive.
There are some unusual thoughts about guns and Jesus that seem to get a bit mixed up at times, but otherwise, I think they're great.
I don't want to. I'm not going to be controversial,
No,
but I
thank
heard
God.
no. You mentioned that gun thing, and it's a very interesting thing because I think for other nations who don't have the big embedded gun culture, it's a kind of like, what's the sense in all having all those guns?
Yeah.
But you have to put yourself into the shoes, if you can, of America. A large number of Americans, not every American, we get that. And I heard a guy on the radio years and years ago, and he said, yeah, but our attitude, and he was speaking for the gun lobby, he wasn't a spokesperson for the NRA, the National Rifle Association. He was saying, our view is that because it was about assault weapons, why would a private individual have any need of an assault weapon? Right. Which
good question.
It is an absolutely good question. Yeah. And he said, if the government can have those weapons, we should be allowed to have them too.
Oh.
And what that gives you an insight into is a very different mindset of Americans, which is we're free, we're independent, but we have chosen to have a government of whatever colour, right? We've chosen to have a government to make some decisions for us, but we ultimately, as individuals, it's our country, and therefore these people here, if they have a right to them, we must have a right to them as well. And that's a very different attitude towards government.
Yeah, it is very different. Yeah, they do have a very different attitude to government. Yes, they do. Yeah, very, very different.
Yes.
That we don't have here in the UK.
No, so the idea is, well, government could be something that would try and oppress me and take away my freedom, the people in government, and therefore, if you're allowed those, we're allowed those.
Okay, right.
Very different mindset.
Very, very different. Still not keen, personally.
No, I'm not keen, as coming from the UK where we don't have that culture, gun culture. I'm not keen, but that was the first person that made me think, okay. I can see where you're coming from. Doesn't mean I agree with you, but I see where you're coming from.
Totally. Yeah.
So we're slightly off travel there. And I don't think that was controversial. I was just sharing what I'd heard.
And
it made me think.
Yeah, no.
And that's not a bad thing. No, somebody says something that actually makes you think.
It's a good thing.
Even if you go, okay, I've thought about that and I still don't agree, but at least I've thought about it.
I've definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
So travel, and the reason I picked travel is because when we were younger, there was that famous point in your history when there's a sort of tradition of, when you finished university, college, or whatever it is, as a young person in the UK, if you have the means to go and travel abroad, you do travel abroad, and we do something called interrailing here. So you get your little train pass for a month, which means you can travel around Europe on the train for free or heavily discounted. And I did that when I was younger. You did it first because you're older than me, but I just want to compare our experiences.
Well, you had one and I didn't.
Yeah.
You move on.
Because I went to, I travelled 9 months after the Berlin Wall came down. So I went to East Berlin, I went to Checkpoint Charlie when it was still operational. And I actually met Russian soldiers who were actually selling their belts, the actual belts, not the repros. And went to Budapest, toured around Hungary, and did all of those things, and went to Prague before it was trendy to go to Prague, and had that amazing experience. Where did you go, Nick?
I went to Holland with Brendan.
What did you do in Holland?
Well, he knew a girl whose family lived in a little town called Zwolle, which is in northern Holland.
Right.
I can't remember her name. So the idea was we would go and stay with them for a few days and then we would go around Europe.
Yes.
So we did get on a train and we went to look. We thought we'd go to Luxembourg 1st. Let's visit the Low Countries. So we went to Luxembourg and we got off the train at Luxembourg and we had a pint of Stella each. And then we just went back to Zwolle, but stayed in a campsite there, except I didn't fancy a tent. So we hired a log hut thing.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
How long were you away for?
Well, we were in there for 5 days.
Right.
And then we went back to their house because that was the arrangement. They went, "Oh, have you had a nice time around Europe?" And we went, "No, we've just been down the road in that little cabin."
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
And then you came home.
Yeah.
Okay. It's always fascinated me.
Yeah.
That you didn't do any more. What was it that stopped you doing?
I was scared.
That's what it was. Right. So if I tell you that Charlie, my son, was scared of traveling on his own until very, very recently, is it a young male thing?
I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
And we're kind of getting off travel here a little bit, and I'm going to open up here.
Oh.
But a good few years ago, it must be 20 years ago, I had a little bit of counselling. I felt the need that I needed to see a counselling person. A local authority provided, rather than paying my own cash, but referred through my doctor. And she asked me, how would you describe how you were during your childhood? And I had never thought about that before. But the very first thing I said, without giving it any thought whatsoever, was I was scared.
Goodness me. Gosh.
I was scared. From being 11, for my teenage years, the vast majority of my teenage years, I was scared. I was frightened.
Wow. Now, I'm hoping that's not the case now.
No, not at all.
Good.
Not at all now. There's very little that frightens me.
Good. Wonder what it was that was scaring you.
Oh, I was scared that I would get beaten up. That's what I was frightened of.
Right. Okay. We were brought up in quite a rough area.
Yeah, and I wasn't one of the lads.
No. Yeah.
So I did get picked on once or twice. Not often and not really badly.
Yeah.
But I did, and that was what it was.
Right. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was with Charlie. I don't know. Anyway, he's over that. He went to Copenhagen the other week for 4 days.
That's good. Who doesn't love Czechoslovakia?
Loved it, had a ball, and now has decided he's going to go to New Zealand for a bit. So, yeah, that's him.
That's quite extreme, isn't it?
Yeah.
To go from Copenhagen to go, oh, I like travel. I'll go to Copenhagen. Where should I go next? New Zealand. Does he realise there's lots and lots of other places in between, like virtually every country on the planet?
Yeah. So you know how you're Gemini?
Yes.
He's Sagittarius.
I don't know what that is.
So Sagittarians are wild party animals who like doing extreme things.
Okay.
So Charlie,
generally
speaking, so he is a very sociable creature, is our Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah, he loves a party. He works as a barman in a 5-star hotel, and he loves it because he just gets to chat to people all day long. So he's gone, 4 days in Copenhagen, move my whole life to New Zealand for a year or so. That's how his brain works.
Fine.
Doesn't do those in between steps.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just have to go with the flow with Charlie and get on with it. So Would you ever go backpacking?
No.
No. Is that the untidiness and the toilet facilities again, or what is it?
Yeah, and also at 57, I think it's a young. I do look back and wish that I had travelled.
No, really?
Yeah, I do. I think
Didn't
it
know
would have
that.
been very good for
Yeah.
me to do that. It would have got me literally out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
But one only can make the decisions at the time. And at the time, that was just. I wanted to be self-employed. I wanted to start my own business from being 14.
Yeah.
And going away and traveling would have just interfered with that. So when everyone else was backpacking at 19, I started a business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That was my adventure, which is an adventure in and of itself, actually.
Yeah.
Leaving home, your best mate leaving his familial home, renting a house and starting a business from scratch is, some people go, God, no, I'd rather go interrailing or I'd rather go traveling because that's less scary than that. That's really scary to do that. I didn't find that scary. That was my adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
It's just a different type of adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Whereas I've always loved traveling.
I love traveling now.
And I still love traveling. I would the older people, there's a whole generation
that is true.
of over 50s backpacking now.
It's true.
They do it in a bit more luxury, I think.
Yes.
But there are loads of people who maybe didn't do it when they were younger and are now going to do it.
But you know that with my job, training communication skills, I have a tremendous amount of traveling.
You do. Yeah, you do. You travel a lot.
So that's taken me all over the world.
Yeah.
Including, my nephew Charlie, talked about going to New Zealand. I've been twice with work.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Except I got to fly business class and first class.
Did you?
Yes, the client paid business class, and on the last one, I was just upgraded to first. They went, "Oh, if you book today, we'll upgrade you to first class."
Yes.
Now that's the way to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, now that is the way to go to New Zealand. Did you get a bed and everything?
Yes.
God, that's
pajamas, bed, eat when you want.
Wow.
Whenever you want to eat, Mr. Davis. Yes, just let us know. Here's the menu.
Crikey.
Oh, it's fabulous.
God.
Yeah.
Get a bit spoilt though.
You do, and it's still boring because it's still a long way on an aeroplane.
Yeah.
It's really, but there you go. So me starting a business when I was 19 did lead to me traveling, albeit 30 years later. But when I did travel, I did go. So I'm in Hong Kong, as you know, 5 times, Singapore twice, all business class.
Yeah. Nice. Maybe that's the best way to go.
And then you put up in nice, and also you put up in nice hotels, and also because your clients are paying, I've not had to pay for any of that.
I think that's probably the better way of doing it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm having to do it on a bit of a budget. No, I'm not. Client's paying for it. It's great. So, this year so far, I've been to Bermuda with work.
You have?
Dublin, loads of times. Where else have I been? I was in Brussels this time last week.
Paris.
I'm going to Barcelona on the 16th of July.
Oh, you did not know that.
I'm going to Barcelona, speaking at a conference in Barcelona in July.
Cool.
And I've got a call tomorrow about possibly speaking at a conference in Benidorm in November.
Benidorm?
Doing all the Bs. Brussels, Benidorm, Bermuda, Barcelona.
Benidorm?
Yeah, they're having a conference there.
Okay.
And Singapore looks likely in October.
Oh, well, that's exciting. So far, I've travelled to Glasgow, Edinburgh.
You live in Edinburgh.
Kingussie and London, that's it.
I win. I win.
We always have a question that Nick decides for our next podcast guest. And I'm interviewing Helen Munchie next, helenmunchie.com. She has a really interesting angle on social media and generating leads through social media. And her angle is quizzes. And she helps businesses create quizzes to create the leads that they need. So, Nick, what would be your question?
Well, I have 2 questions, Kate, on this. One, I would love to know the origins of her surname. It's a very unusual surname, Munchie.
Yeah.
SHI, which is at the end. So I'd like to know that. And then I'd also like to know, what is your favourite television quiz?
Oh, great questions. Right. I will put those to Helen. You'll have to listen to the interview with Helen when it
I
comes
may
out.
have referred to her as Kate, by the way.
You did. It's Helen.
So, sorry, Helen. Sorry, Helen. Apologies.
Definitely not Kate.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Au revoir. Bye-bye. Arrivederci. Ciao.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thanks very much for listening. Remember
Watching.
watching and subscribe. Okay. Bye-bye.
And the bell icon.
The bell and subscribe.
It'll alert you when we do another one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Will it actually do that?
Well, it flashes. It makes a dingy noise. People think that's a dingy noise. Like a bell, in fact.
Okay, I'm pressing stop now. Bye-bye.